Jonny RaZeR posts a lot of his bad ideas to shorts, but I don't think anyone's ever made one, so I'm gonna be making one of his bad game ideas. To find his bad game ideas though, I scrolled through every single one of his shorts to narrow it down to a whopping 8 bad game ideas. I was honestly expecting a lot more. I did make this list a few months ago though, so it's probably outdated. The only thing is, most of these ideas are either way too complicated for my honestly mid-coding skills, or I'm far too lazy to do them. So I decided on this basic idea.
Game idea. Pac-Man, but as a horror game. If you were to describe Pac-Man to someone who's never played it before, they would assume it's a horror game by default. You're running around a maze, being chased by ghosts, trying to collect as many little goobers and trinkets as you can before the goblins catch you. If that doesn't sound like a horror game to you, I don't know what does. So what I propose is a first-person Pac-Man game. Like, you're running through the maze, you're trying to get the pellets, whatever, but all the ghosts just look like terrifying goblins, like some SCP Foundation looking stuff chasing you around, and like it's just this terrifying, they could just be PNGs, these terrifying like stock images of horror monsters chasing you. Honestly, someone could literally do this with the Obunga PNG chasing you in Gmod. Make it.
I'm not going to use the Obunga PNG because I don't want this game to be too goofy, but also, would you rather click on this thumbnail or this thumbnail? I'm editing this right now and the Obunga one's pretty funny, so I actually might end up using it. Anyways, I started off with like a basic test area, but it looks pretty bland, so I'm going to import textures from this website called Polygon. The game plan is that there's going to be a few cherries, and once you collect all of them, a door will open and you can escape. Anyways, I did a bit of coding, and here's the first test. It actually worked straight away. That never happens. Alright, let's take a little break from the actual gameplay. Let me just... Lighting. The next main thing I need to add are the ghosts. So I'm going to use Unity's built-in navigation, which makes it a lot easier to tell the ghosts to chase the player and to avoid the walls. So now the ghost follows the player, but as you may or may not have noticed, this is just a box. So I made a ghost model, and honestly my Blender skills aren't that great, but the ghost looks alright. I don't have any footage of it, but here's the finished maze layout. And now the game's coming together pretty well. To make it a bit more interesting though, I added a stamina bar. I also added this E to interact text so that when the player gets near the cherries, they know how to pick them up. There's one thing I forgot to texture, and that's the door. So I found this texture on Polygon and imported it into Unity. I made an animation, if you can even call it that, where the player just falls backwards if the ghost catches it. And after the animation, it fades out, but I need something to fade it out too. So I started to make a main menu with a background area. It's very scary, I know. There's one thing that makes it half as scary though, and that's the default text. So I found this font on 1000 fonts and imported it into Unity. Also, don't ask me why, but for some reason I decided to use the most unreadable color possible. I added this little win area, and the last thing I added was sound, which I may or may not have made on GarageBand. So yeah, here's some of the finished gameplay in the background. You can play the full game on itch.io, link should be in the description. Thank you so much for 150 subs. Oh, and also if you're still watching to this point, there's a secret room that I added, so you can go find that. I did make it pretty hard to find, so here's a hint. You have to walk through a wall to get into it. Alright, bye.